Hi, and welcome to the And1 podcast. I am your host, Alex West, and we're trying something new today. Going to try a little bit of a video format. We're calling it the outlet pass because the quickest play, get the defensive rebound, kick it out to the outlet pass, and get the fast break going. So this is going to be the fast break version of the And1 podcast. It's just going to be 5 or 6 minutes of me talking about whatever's gone on in the day, in the week, just some basketball quick hitters. And I thought it would be fun to do this in a little bit of a different format than usual. It's still going to be available on iTunes and SoundCloud, just in audio form. There's not going to be too much video presentation here, but today the big news, obviously, Carmelo Anthony traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and it's been interesting. Obviously, the deal wasn't quite what we thought it would be. At one point, the Knicks had asked for 2 first-round picks, which they did not get. They ended up getting Enes Kanter and Doug McDermott to add to a rebuilding team, and the Oklahoma City Thunder walked away with Carmelo Anthony. Now, right off the bat, obviously, Oklahoma City, the big winner here, only trading Kanter, a guy who they weren't sure could even play big minutes in the playoffs, and McDermott, somebody who had not contributed in the way that they thought he would. It's a big steal to get a player like Carmelo Anthony, but I think it's important to say that Carmelo Anthony is not one of the top 10 players in the league anymore, and I feel like it's kind of crazy to have to say that, but it needs to be said. And Carmelo Anthony is what he is. He's a great scorer. He's a guy who's going to get buckets. But I'm not sure how well he pairs with this Oklahoma City team, a team that's going to be ISO heavy, ball dominant with Paul George, ball dominant with Russell Westbrook, obviously whose usage rate was through the roof last year. So it'll be interesting to add a third player who's ball dominant and see how well Billy Donovan can integrate all of that into the offense. I think they're probably a 4 seed. That things may change. God knows that this NBA offseason's been crazy enough that things may change in the next couple of days. And LeBron James may be playing for the Lakers. Who knows? But given the current makeup of the Western Conference, I think that they're probably the 4 seed. And Houston, San Antonio, Golden State, not in that order, still in front of them. And that's probably what it is for Oklahoma City. It'll be interesting to see if adding Carmelo can entice Russell Westbrook to stay. Paul George, obviously, the jury's still out, a guy who has professed to wanting to play in Los Angeles. So that'll be interesting. But that's basically the question for Oklahoma City. On the flip side, I think New York got better in addition by subtraction. Getting rid of Melo gets rid of this dueling thing with him and Kristaps Porzingis, and sort of lets the focus of the New York offense rest on Kristaps Porzingis, a player who played so impressively last season and as well as this season in Eurobasket, guiding his home country of Latvia all the way deep into the playoffs before losing to Slovenia. But he played so tremendously, and he's got a unique skill set. He's a guy who is 7'2". He's got a great wingspan. He can protect the rim a little bit. He needs to add a little weight if he's going to do that full time, but turning the keys over to him will be interesting. It would have been more interesting if they'd have drafted Dennis Smith, who was available at the 9th pick. But Frank Ntilikina, past first point guard, a guy with a lot of potential in 6'6", and then adding Enes Kanter, a guy who can score, play a little bit of the center position, and rebound to protect Porzingis a little bit. Should be interesting, but I think obviously they're playing towards the future, and getting a high draft pick this season will go a long way to do that. And maybe if they can add somebody like a Luka Doncic, they could be one of the more interesting Eastern Conference teams in a depleted Eastern Conference next year. But that's basically my take on the Carmelo Anthony trade. Hit me up. All the stuff is right there. You can see the show's Twitter and my Twitter. So hit me up. Let me know what I thought that was totally wrong, because I'm sure it was something. But until next time, for the And1 podcast, this is the Outlet Pass, and I'm Alex West.